Hey all, welcome to Share Trek. This is Raj here. Well. I said yesterday that the market overreacted to Ginkgo Bioworks Q2 earnings. I was not wrong. Guess what? DNA gained more than 6% at the time of recording this video and is probably making a trend reversal today. Let's talk about DNA. Let's get started. Welcome back. Friends, as I was making my Q2 earnings review video for DNA yesterday, I was feeling very strongly that the earnings were not too bad, and given its cash position and the recent contracts that enhance its credibility, DNA should do better. I felt so strongly that actually I mentioned it in my video. If you go back and check my video, you will see that. And I think I put on my thumbnail as well that market has overreacted. So yesterday, DNA lost almost 13% from the previous day's close. There was a gap down as well if you look at the chart. Today, the support at 1.75 held as I predicted, and we are at 1.87. So let me take you to the TradingView platform and just show this, and then I'll continue further. As you can see here, we have all these candles are one-day candle, and yesterday we dropped almost 12% from where we were. That was around 2.01 at the close of the previous day, and in response to the earnings, everything fell down, and it was a huge gap down as well. And today we are having some support from 1.75, so I'm going to mark this green for support. And we also broke through a resistance which was at 1.82. So I'm going to mark this as a support as well. And we have come out. So I think this is some kind of a trend reversal forming. And yesterday I had mentioned that I am expecting 1.76, this line, to be a support. And it has been a support. Same way I am saying that for Monday, 1.82 is going to act as a support. And ultimately, I am thinking that we are going to get into a situation where either we get back into this bull channel from which we fell out, or we are likely to create a inferior bull channel just below that, parallel to it, and we continue our move upwards towards challenging the resistance at 2.07. And you can see the momentum is also picking up, and the MACD is also turning towards the signal line. How do I know that? Because we can see the lighter color of the histogram out here, which shows the tending towards the signal line. So that's what I think. That's what I wanted to show you in the charts. Now, if you think calmly about DNA, you can see that the list of big name corporations that have expanded their collaboration with DNA recently, that enhanced their credibility, because when the short seller came out with their report, the main concern was that this is a snake oil company and that they have got all internal sales and all that stuff. Their own companies are placing orders, and that's how they are showing revenue. That's what was alleged. So the big name companies like Sumitomo expanding its contract was a big resounding endorsement. And also the DARPA contract, again government contract for DNA, also shows that the government must have done its own due diligence before entering into the contract with DNA. So all that enhances the credibility of DNA and kind of puts a whitewash over the entire short seller storyline. So that was one of the areas one of the reasons why I thought very strongly that there was a negative overreaction for DNA based on the Q2 earnings result. I'm also very excited, as I mentioned, about the eco-friendly API production business, because more and more pharmaceutical companies are likely to come for API production collaboration with DNA in order to reduce their footprint on the environment and be more eco-friendly. So that's another area where I'm excited about. And I consider the Geosecurity business to be like a surprise bonus every once in a while. So friends, if you eat the caramel and salt ice cream, when you're, or for that matter, if you eat a nice focaccia bread, there are some granules of salt here and there. So when it comes to you, it's like a burst of flavor. So something similar to that, I think the Geosecurity business is going to periodically give a burst of revenue, and also it's going to build a sustained revenue base as well. Let me explain. Friends, one of the reasons why we have so many pandemics recently is because human population has grown a lot. But not only that, we are also traveling a lot. packed like sardines, either in local trains or long distance flights. And again, we are moving from one corner of the world to the other, and doing so more frequently. Apart from this, we have been destroying wildlife habitats for either construction or agriculture or mining. This means human-animal proximity has increased. This leads to interspecies viral transfer possibilities. For example, in Africa, we regularly hear of Ebola. We have had SARS and recently COVID, which is still mutating and has raised a level of concern very recently that there is a new strain and that's causing concern to the scientists. So when the next pandemic strikes, DNA will be doing a lot of work and will also get rush orders with other countries that have not yet signed. And having a DNA geosecurity agreement, I think, will be table stakes for most politicians in many countries that do not have a big organization like CDC or a well-established Ministry of Health. And in order to get political cover, the bare minimum they will do is get into a geosecurity agreement with the DNA so that they can say that they are with an international company which has got reputation, which has been signed up by other governments as well to track pathogens. And now this geosecurity is not just for human pandemic, but also it's for crop security. So if you have invasive species or if you have some kind of crop pathogens, those can be targeted and identified much early, and things can be salvaged. So that's what I think is going to happen in future. And again, Ginkgo is making these contracts provide ongoing revenue instead of it just being a one-off revenue. So progressively, I visualize that we'll have a predictable revenue stream forming a decent percentage of DNA revenues. So at that time, it will be much easier to predict the DNA earnings. The earnings expectation will be more in line with what happens actually. That will also support DNA share price. And this will improve the valuation of the stock as well, because as more and more earnings become reliable, the stock will increase because the risk premium goes down. And then we have a need of patience when we invest in this stock because it's a long-term game when it comes to DNA. I always remember that however much we like a stock, we should not put everything and the kitchen sink into it. As an investor, your objective is not only to maximize profits, but also to safeguard your capital and enhance your capital. This demands planning allocation of the portfolio into debt and equity, and then further into sectional allocation, sectoral allocation. So these things need discipline, and despite being convinced, as a retail investor, we are likely to go overboard on one share that looks like a sure thing, especially if the share price is very low. Then that's the source of a problem. So those interested in DNA, remember this. If you put all your money in here, you are going to have sleepless nights and heavy risks, potentially beyond your appetite. So always be careful. And the other point I would like to mention from my own personal experience is that we need to set profit targets. And when the profit target is achieved, either you sell the stock and book the profits or sell a covered call to protect your profit. Else, what will happen is you will be on a market roller coaster. The market will go up, you will be happy, and then it will start falling down, and you'll say, I should have sold it earlier. And when it is down, if you lose your nerve, you may end up selling, and then it will go up. So you want to avoid all those things. So as soon as your profit target is achieved, either sell the stock, or if you think there is still more upside, put a very aggressive covered call out there. Like if you think the share would probably go up to another $5, so add $5 to the current market price and see what strike, put that as a strike price and see what premiums you get. And if it's worth it, then place the covered call. So that's what you need to do in order to make some money instead of just holding the stock without any returns. So that said, this way, if the share falls later, you would still get to keep the premium, and you will still have your original shares in your hand. So many people use this as a strategy to make a monthly revenue. So that's something I want you guys to consider about. Of course, everything I say in my videos are personal opinion and not financial advice. Now coming back to DNA, despite everything I said, I'm not buying any more DNA. My covered call expires today and I get to keep my premium. I will keep selling covered calls for DNA and CRSP as and when I get an opportunity. So that's my strategy. And that's basically because my portfolio is already allocated and I can't put any more money into any of these. And I want to keep some money handy in case there's a wonderful opportunity that comes in. If the market drops suddenly, I need some cash. So I kept a little cash in each account so that I can buy something in that situation. So that's what I am doing. That said, I would like to know what you guys think about DNA. Please give me your feedback in the comment section and I'll catch up with you in the next video. Bye for now.